Very good everybody, welcome to another video. This is your personal funky sim pilot. My name is Arkady Gidzenko and I will be your captain for today's flight. Today's flight will take us from Italy to Tunisia. We'll be flying from Venice to Tunis. We're using the PMDG 737-600 variant again. Today with Tunisair livery. We're using real-world time and real-world weather, GSX and the Microsoft or the Airsoft Simple Traffic tool. Let's get the pleasantries out of the way. So we're hooked up here at gate 326 in Venice, Italy. As I said, real-world time, real-world weather. So currently this is the weather situation in Venice, looking quite drooly. Alright, so let's hop on in. So we turn on the batteries and the IRS system aligning. And we got ground power connected. And we do not have a storm light, but we can put the dome light to bright. So let's do that. And logo lights and anti-collision lights, they can go on as well. Now let's get our flight plan from the electronic flight bag. There it is. We'll be flying over Vatican City. So departure weather. Wind from 100 at 5 knots. Visibility is 7,000 meters. Rain, scattered clouds at 2,000 feet. Oh, that's 200 feet, not 2,000 feet. Broken at 5,000 feet. 14 degrees, QNH 1015. So let's start up GSX and request boarding.
Boarding requested.
So get some panel lights going here as well. So we can sort of see what we're doing, right? There you go. So our reference airport, one of the nicer names in the ICAO code. Attach pushback tug. No, no thank you. I would.
Pilot's boarding starting.
Awesome. So that airport LIPZ. And gate 326. Let's see if this is recognized. And it actually is. So that's our IRS position. Flight plan request. Set payload. Set fuel. Select route. So we can load up the flight plan now. So we activate and execute. Departure arrival. Let's look at our OSP. Cost index 17, cruising altitude 3900, wind 242 at 062. And our block fuel 6432, so 6.5 and 2.3 for the
Your
final
crew has
reserves.
boarded. Passengers boarding starting.
So we're departing from runway 04 right. We got the G6 Lima out of 04 right. G6 Lima, no transition, execute back to the index, and then for Tunis. Let's see what they have in store for us. They have direct to runway 19er. And do they have an ILS there? Looks like it. ILS Zulu 19er. That's always good. Tunisian Gola Marsa Nirem ICANI. And that's it, so we just execute. Now we should have the entire route in here. After ICANI, there is a CI 19 Zulu and FI 19 Zulu, so we'll look at that later. So I'll go back to route to get to the init-ref page really. So zero fuel weight. So the zero fuel weight, 47,000 kilograms. That is sometimes the same amount of fuel that that the 777 carries. So those are quite impressive numbers, if you ask me. So planned fuel 6.5, and then the reserves were 2.3. The cost index for today's flight will be 17, and we'll be cruising at an altitude of flight level 390, and the cruising wind was 242 at 062 knots. That's what's in the OFB. Transition altitude 6,000. Well, let's check that out. Venice, Italy. We got the G6 left, or Lima I should say rather. So after departure, right turn, Arkady. Quite straightforward, these are RNAV departures. So transition altitude 6,000, so that's correct, so we can execute. And one limit. That's ground operations, we don't need that now. Performance 2. 204 right, I believe it was. Four right.
May I see your boarding pass? Good afternoon.
Runway length 108, runway condition, I'm not really sure wet or standing water, but it's not like pouring, so I'm guessing wet would be sufficient. Let's see if we can calculate. The CCs cannot be calculated with this config. Verify weight, then select the difference flap or the rate thrust. Let's see, flap config optimum, rating optimum. We can import from aircraft just so we have something to work with.
Hello.
So TL 56 degrees. Should give us 120 or 124. But these numbers are probably a little bit low. Maybe there's something else we could do in the meantime. Let's check how the boarding is doing. 37 out of 97 passengers. So they're not going hog wild yet with the boarding, it's not a full plane.
Welcome on board.
So we'll set the altitude now for flight level 390. And the aircraft just found its position.
Good afternoon.
So the IRS was done aligning, you can see it here. You could see this popping into view right in the corner here.
Welcome on board.
Let's turn on flight directors. The yaw damper. Auto thrust VNAV LNAV. And we'll put speed 250 here in the window.
Good afternoon. Welcome on board.
And as I said, at the moment there's like a clouds, you're driving, flying through clouds, or the lighting is like this. Basically we're just in the clouds. Then the brightness gets like really funnily bright, which is not very pleasant to look at. And this is typical for a Microsoft Flight Simulator for some reason.
Boarding pass, please.
So baggage loading is finished. There they go. So this is one of the liveries that also come with the Boeing 737-600 by PMDG. So the Tunisair. Which is pretty cool, gives us an excuse to fly to two different locations once again, which can always be interesting, obviously. I kind of like this logo, I must say, this livery. Pretty cool. Reminds a little bit of Turkish Airlines, obviously due to the flag, which you can see there as well. So we can see our passengers here walking through the jetway here in Venice. So 68 passengers boarded now. So I think what we'll do, we'll just wait until the boarding has finished, and then we'll set up the numbers straight after the aircraft, and well, then we push back and we get going. You can have a look where to go. Let's maybe first go back in. So we're here, Venice, LIPZ. Runway 04 right. Very straightforward. We push back nose to the left. We follow Mike. Let's see. Which one is Mike? So this Kilo. And that turns into Mike, I guess. Well, we'll see. Anyway, we'll turn right. And we just probably, can we cross the runway? All the way at the end. Alright. So push back, what's our position? Nose to the left. And then we'll just get out automatically, probably.
This way. Good afternoon. Hello?
So now standing by for the boarding to finish. Let's start up the APU and get our fuel pumps going, because we will be departing soon. APU is starting. Emergency exit lights aren't. Let's check our fuel. We need to change this. So boarding is now completed. Very good. So return. Let's see if it's the manual. PMDG setup. Aircraft. Displays, and then I believe it's the last page. Fuel tank total display, no. So we got 6.4. The APU is starting up. EGT is now beginning to drop. So the boarding has finished. You can turn on the seatbelt signs, the no smoking sign. And we turn on the APU bleed. Cruising altitude will be 390, so we'll set the pressurization system accordingly. Now landing altitude sea level, so that's correct. So since the APU is running, let's disconnect let's first start the APU generators, disconnect the ground power, and we release the ground power unit. That's the wrong one, performance tool. Alright, so import from OFP, runway condition wet, 108 the runway length. So import from aircraft, import weather, calculate. Give us pretty much the same values. So select temperature of 56, takeoff, so TL, and that should give us 86.6. Well, let's go and see. So 56 degrees, and this is giving us 87.3. Then to the takeoff, flap 5. No, I think it's a flap 1. Flap 1. V1 120, VR 124, V2 129. Trim 5.76, we got that as well, 5 3/4. So here we're getting 124, 124, 129ers, and 108 on the runway remaining to fill out here. So 124, 124, 129ers, these are definitely different numbers. Still not sure why that is exactly, but it is how it is. See if we can get the mouse to working again. Right, so that concludes the setup here of the FMC. So that's been completely, everything's loaded and entered correctly. Then I guess we're pretty much done. So let's see if we can call GSX and request pushback and departure. So again, it's quick beeping for the doors. So let's just select close all and see if it'll take.
Ciao, Captain. We are ready for pushback.
The door is closed, but the stairs are still in place. There they go. Okay. That's always good.
Departure checks completed. Bypass inserted.
So let's set the trim 5.75.
Locking the gear.
Is the parking brake set? No, it is now. Let's remove the chocks. Ground connections. So remove chocks. And that should remove anything that's remaining. So we'll be going nose to the left, I believe it was. Nose to the left. Nose left, tail right.
Release parking brakes. Please.
Parking brake release.
Commencing push. All engines clear. Start at wheel.
Start at wheel. Engine number 2. The N2 is coming alive. 10% fuel. So quite a rainy day here today, and in Italy, Venice. Right, engine number 2, or actually the second engine that we're going to start with, engine number 1. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, there you go, and fuel. Okay, so we can set the flaps to take off. That is 1. And the auto brake to RTO. FMC, there's a message here, verify takeoff speeds. So we go back to lean and ref. And 1 limit takeoff speeds, 124, 124, 129. Okay, we set parking brakes.
Waiting your confirmation for a good engine start.
So we have good engine start, so we can confirm right away.
Cockpit to ground. We have a good engine start. You can disconnect.
So since the engine started, let's turn on the main generators, and then we can turn off the APU. And turn off the APU bleed.
Unlocking the diesel.
We'll turn on the packs now. Try to remember to check the packs before takeoff. Traffic on.
Tow track disconnected. Bypass removed. Left is clear. Right is
So before takeoff checklist, flaps green light. Flaps green light at 1. Stabilizer trim, we've set it to 5.75. And then we'll get the after takeoff checklist. Engine leads on, packs auto, landing gear up and off, flaps up, no lights. But we're not there yet. So you got your little pin there. Okay, very good, thank you. Goodbye Sylvia, see you the next time. Take off left, so we can get rid of this. We'll just go to the LIPZ page now. Let's try to hand fly the departure. It looks fairly simple, just a bunch of right turns, but we'll see what is going to happen. So VNAV, LNAV, they are armed here. We got the altitude in the window. Auto thrust is armed as well. Arm, LNAV, VNAV. I'm not seeing the flight director yet. I'm not sure if I should panic already. So, runway turn off lights, taxi lights. And for another quick look at the taxi route, it's just we follow down to the runway and then follow that to the end, and then we cross it, and that gives us 04 right. So parking brakes released. Just a little bit of thrust. They do not really appreciate a big jet left here at the apron. Probably for good reason. We're starting to roll now. So 1015, we got that in both windows. got a bunch of liners, a bunch of EasyJets, typical European low-cost airliners. There's an Air Canada. Not so sure what to make of that with that type of plane. This far from home. There's Pegasus from Turkey. Also to be expected at an airport like Venice. And something leaving there. I cannot really make out what it is. But that's so cool about the simple traffic tool by Aerosoft, you know. Get a little bit more realistic, yeah, a little more realistic, let's actually use our trust, what do you say? But yeah, you get a little bit more realistic traffic instead of these generic colors and everything, you know. And I really like that. I'm happy I purchased it. So this turn 14 knots should be sufficient. So what do we have here? EasyJet, British Airways. I'm not sure if I remember which this was. So that is not the right for sure. Cabin crew, prepare for departure. So we're crossing 34 left. That is our runway, 04 right. Turn on the landing lights now. Position stroke and steady. Parking brake set. We turn off the packs for the takeoff. We'll turn off the lights. And the T-gas goes to the ARA. And let's zoom in on our navigational display. That will help us follow our trajectory. Or flight path, whatever you want to call it. We do not have flight directives yet. Let's just quickly see if everything's okay. The yaw damper is still on. Let's turn off the flight directives on both sides for a second. We'll just cycle them. And on. And on, VNAV, LNAV. I never really noticed it, but probably they just come alive after departure. So that's it. I think we're ready. So your left time. Let's go. Parking brake released. Whoops. 50% first. That seems stable. Let's go. Let's go to Tunis.
Airspeed alive.
Find the Tunisair 757-600. Let's keep an eye on the runway.
Rotate. E2. Positive rate of climb.
Gear up. Turning on the packs. Let's lower our nose a little bit now. Gently. Flaps up. And the right turn, and it's time to lower the nose. I'll turn on the autopilot now. We have to focus on a bunch of other things. Let's turn on the anti-icing system. As we're flying through these clouds. Your on return of flight, taxi lights can come off. So the auto brake to off and we lock the gear. And that pretty much will conclude our checklist. After takeoff, engine bleeds to on, packs to auto, landing gear up and off, flaps up, no light. So that we got that out of the way. So engine bleeds are on and the packs are at auto. So 6,000 feet was the transition altitude, so let's go standard pressure. It's on both sides. Flap up speed, 200 knots. We should stay below 200 knots for 1.2 miles. We're now turning, so now we can accelerate to 289. 7,900 feet. So the city of Venice below us. I really liking this livery, man. Tunisair. Alright, 4 minutes to the flight. Nose coming down, 10,000 feet. Let's turn off the landing lights. And let's release the passengers. So we keep on climbing on our way to Arkady, 5 miles. So increase our range now. So top of climb coming up there in about 70 miles or so. Let's leave the engines running for a little bit longer. So top of descent will be 402 nautical miles at 1717 Zulu. That's in about 1 hour. Fucking hell, man. $18,000 feet. Also taking care of a couple of things here, so might be AFK every now and then. So I get to the flight deck from the back and see what's going on. we're pretty much clear of the clouds. Turn off the anti-icing. $26,300. We're not quite at cruise yet. Flight level 390. So the CMD and 1 LNAV 15 speed. So let's double check, I believe runway 19er. So we get direct to runway 19er. So let's pull up the charts for that. Approach chart runway 19er, ILS Zulu or localizer, that is ours. So there's no arrival procedure or anything, we'll just go straight for the runway. But we have initial approach fix Marfa, I don't think we do. Got ICANI, ABDAB, ICANI. So let us see what ICANI is exactly, so that's right there. And then probably probably connect these two, but we could also maybe put in one waypoint in between. We'll just see how it's going to look. Marfa. And if we want to check it out, we'll go to the plan page here. That is saying after ICANI, let's zoom in. So ICANI, Marfa, and that looks perfectly fine, very nice. And from Marfa, the Charlie 19er Zulu. The glide slope starts at 7 nautical miles, I think. This one from TU3. That's the Tunis VOR. ILS DME will be TSI. So 6.2 miles from TSI. Okay, so we'll do that. Now if we execute, it will be set in stone. Okay. Let's copy the runway now that we're in here, and then we can go to our fixed page, paste it in there. Let's set up some range rings. So one is 6.2. So 009 degrees. At 6.2 and 009 at 15 miles. Now we got a bunch of rings, so that might help us know where we are. So we got that, back to the VELEX page. So the other information, we go to the ILS chart. So 189 degrees, 110.3, 110.3, 189, 2,000 feet at, well, at 7 nautical miles from Tuk VOR. So 1103, 189. 1103 decimal. Alright, let's see. 189er and not 103.9er. So that's all in there. Let's also get the altimeter, the decision height. We can put in 280 feet radio altitude. Zero. So top of the climb is coming up, 1,000 miles, 1,000 feet to go. Okay, so we're at cruising altitude now. The engines are in cruise mode. And this is our extended runway center line. Pretty funny. Top of descent, 308 nautical miles, 1717. It's about 45 minutes. Expected to arrive 1745. So in about 1 hour and 13 minutes. I got a top of descent in here as well, that's pretty nice. We're now 20 minutes into the flight, and we're at cruising altitude. And as I said, we got about 45 minutes to go, and then we'll start our descent. We'll set everything up, but we can keep on monitoring the weather, hopefully, if the weather reports are updating something of a decent rate. Currently, the weather report is 1600 Zulu, so it should be 34 minutes old. So either we get one quite shortly, or we'll get one like 5 to 10 after the next hour. 1013 gusting up to 23 knots, and direction varying from 050 to 170. Good visibility, few clouds, 2300, 21 degrees, QNH 1011. The range goes all the way up to 640 miles. It's quite big. Very nice, look at that. I'm not sure about the weather. I do not believe the weather works in, or did it now? Let's see. I believe that may have been the, yeah, that's this one. We're getting some weather there for sure. Look at that. We don't have to go through that. I think this is slightly below us. Let's see. It's looking ahead and a little bit below. That's really cool. I like it, man. Alright, so that's zooming in on the weather, but I would actually like to zoom out and find our top of descent. I think that's that one there. That's ADAMI. ABDAB, ADAMI. So we got OKBIS, ESINO, VELEX, ADAMI, ABDAB, ICANI, MARSA. Alright, so that's it. So the wind coming from 266 at 73. I believe the wind in the OFP prediction was 242 at 062. So that's sort of the same. Changed a little bit, little heavier wind. And the direction has changed about 24 degrees to the right. Or to the south, if you will. We're having a crosswind for a while now. Look at the airport chart as well. So we'll be landing runway 19. What's the airport elevation? 21. It's just sea level. It's already at 0, so we can leave that. And then after landing, we will depart to the right, or vacate to the right. Then we have Tunisair parking and all kinds of nifty stuff. So any other information on this chart? Are there flamingos or zebras or elephants. Nothing really. We did not put in 189er, or did we? No, we didn't. 189er. Yes, we did. I'm contradicting myself, but we did. There it is, 189er and 189er. We can think a little bit closer to those showers there. You could see that earlier. That was gone. See the FMC speed on the Venus path. See what's going on the flight deck. a whole bunch of clouds here. To the top of descent in about, what is it, 240 miles? 226. 1516. So in about 30 minutes. Check the weather update. Time is now 16:44. $16:30. So, wind direction 100, 12 knots, varying from 70 degrees to 180 degrees. Visibility 10, fuel clouds 2300, 20 degrees, QNH 1010. So we're on our way to ESINO now. There is ESINO. So we're leaving Italy. We're still in Italian airspace though for a while. And then along the road to ICANI. $196. So getting weather updates every 30 minutes, so that's a lot better than once every hour. But yeah, there's a lot of clouds here for sure, man. Look at that. That's all you can see, just blue and white, and that is it. let me get that open tuning again. I kind of liked it. Let's stand by 1 second. I'm liking the sunlight here. Alright, so let's tune a little bit better now. that happened. So we still have the sun with us. Don't know for how long. Couple of descent, 133 miles, 1750. That's in 19 minutes. Really beautiful little livery this. I really like it. It's almost at the top of the hour, so we can expect a new weather report well, probably 5 to 10 minutes after the hour. Usually it's a little bit delayed. So CMD on, FMC speed on, nothing bad. That's all looking good. Basically we got everything set up for the arrival. We did not check our inner thrust or the approach rest speed. We can start with this. 122, flat 40. And it's giving us 127. We did also have a little bit lower takeoff speed, so I'm expecting a little bit lower landing speed as well. Still having a crosswind. The OFP will take 242 at 62. And they have both gained a little bit. A couple of descents already coming up. So after VELEX, we'll start descending. So the airport is at sea level, we could see it's at 16 feet. So we can just leave the landing altitude at 0. The first step will be 50, which is too big of a difference, so we'll just leave it there. So the weather radar is no longer showing anything, so maybe we can just, well, let's just leave it on, it's not displaying anything anyway. Maybe if we zoom out, do we have any more weather somewhere? Doesn't look like it. It was interesting to see earlier, to see those red spots as well. So maybe it would be nice one day to have a flight where we just go look for weather and just fly through the weather. So just turn on the weather radar, go look for the red spots and just go fly straight in them. And have some fun. Maybe, you know, watch the aircraft in the meantime, you know. I mean, we do have these walkways there for people who want to go to the toilet, so it's always a good thing to watch out. Yeah, they were taking this livery, man. I really like it. Very cool. That's a 1700. I'm not expecting the weather update to be that quick, but let's try anyway. What we're looking at now is quite okay, 12 knots. Just the wind is varying. It's actually varying in our favor since we're landing at runway 19. So the wind is actually coming from 180. It is basically 100 degrees and then varying between 70 degrees and 180 degrees. Oops, accidentally clicked on something. So what do I swap them around? Not quite. Let's go one further maybe. This can totally break it. Fuel expected 3.2 after landing. We got a total of 233 miles to go, 1741. We'll be landing in about 40 minutes and then descending in about 10. Nothing going on there on the weather. So the descent checklist will always have depressurization and landing altitude. We already have those. Recall we don't do yet, auto brake. But we could maybe pre-dial already the current weather. So we have 1630 Zulu, so QNH 1010. We're now on standard anyway, so let's dial that in. At least we got something. 1010 hectopascal. So it looks like it's clouds all the way to our destination today. Actually getting overspeed warning now. So I get our speed brakes out. And let's get the seatbelt sign on. There's severe turbulence. Speed brakes released. For 1 degree 71. I don't know, looks like some heavy turbulence there all of a sudden. So the air quality is sort of changed, where resulting in the aircraft all of a sudden basically flying at a much higher speed. But I think this is all okay. The speed brakes are back up, we're back in, and we're still on CMD FMC speed down at VNF path. Just now we just turned the seatbelt sign on. Maybe address the passengers. Good day, ladies and gentlemen, this is your captain speaking. We have turned on our seatbelt signs. Please return to your seat and fasten your seatbelts. We're currently experiencing a little bit of turbulence. There's nothing the aircraft can't handle, but for your own safety, please turn on your seatbelts, return to your seat. Thank you very much. Alright, so something like that. I think they bought it. Okay, well, I can tell you, besides playing guitar and having the turbulence here, that they were two eventful moments. And do we have turbulence on our weather thingy as well? So you got weather plus turbulence. Not sure what you will see. So it does say weather plus turbulence now, but there is actually no weather. And turbulence wise, no clue. So I'm not sure what I'm doing there, but let's just leave it on. Can't hurt. So fuel now 3.9 and 3.2 on landing. So we're burning at a very slow rate. So if you compare this to the 777 we were flying, we were burning like 3.5 and 3.5 with also two engines, just a lot bigger and a lot bigger tanks. So yeah, we got the airport elevation 16 feet, super low, just sea level. Or 21, not 16, 21 feet. The airport, the entire thing's 21. Here it's 20, here it's 12. But we're using this runway 19. So after landing, we'll vacate to the right, and then we probably get the Tunisair via parking. Since we're Tunisair, you know, getting a little zip treatment there. Okay, so we're turning now to ADAMI, 78 miles. And that's also the top of descent coming up there. It may sound like a bit, but it is actually 1706. So that's actually in 11 minutes. Well, since we did burn a little bit of fuel, I don't think these numbers will change now. Let's have a look. 122, that's still the same speed as we have, okay. But sometimes you may see this change, you know, when you check this thingy too early, and you still have a lot of fuel, and you're burning a lot of fuel, the aircraft weight starts to decrease, and then it also affects the landing speed, obviously. So ILS 110.3189, that's in here as well. It's always very nice to see, and let's double check that the 122 plus 5 knots, 127 in total. See, that's actually on our LIPZ page. I would be surprised if it was not. It's a good thing to choose, to check, because it doesn't do it with every aircraft. But it does, I believe, then with the 737s. But the 777, I believe it doesn't. And the Airbus, I also don't think. So we got our approach speed there, for as long as we will keep it. We might check this a little bit later on as well. But we should get ready for our descent momentarily. 64 miles to go. And the time 17:07. So let's see if the 1700 hours weather report is available yet. No, it is not. It's still sitting at 16:30. So it will probably be a matter of 2 to 3 minutes. Usually it's like 5 to 10 minutes later. And everything else is pretty much set up. We got the fix there, and you can see the extended runway center line that we create. Basically, we can just take a right turn and just keep following the green line, and it will take us directly to the runway. But the problem then is we'll be flying a well, actually, we should then try to stay on the track, you know. So it would be, but that is actually VOR. That's not just for fun's sake. Let's have a look at what the VOR is. So here's the Tunis VOR, so you'll see 116.5. So dial it in the second radio box, 116.5. And we switch him here, 1165. So, but it's not picking up yet, VOR2. I'm a little bit surprised, really. I would think airport VOR that big. 116.5. Let's just double check. 116.5. Definitely it. So it'll probably become active very shortly. I would hope so. Let's see, we got to the airport, which basically to the VOR. Distance to go, 178 miles. So maybe this will start at 175 or 150. But we'll see. We don't really need it, although it would be nice if we have it. Alright, so let's see, 1630. Do we have a weather update? 1700. No, sorry, Bob. Before we reach our top of descent, let's dial in the altitude that we want to descend to. We're fortunate because there's no ATC, so we can just do whatever the hell we want. So we'll dial it all the way down to 2,000 feet. The aircraft will follow the restrictions or constraints in the meantime anyway. So let's start by setting 2,000 feet here in the window. And that's absolutely something I totally love about the Boeing, and you do not see this in the Airbus. 2,000 feet. So one thing left to time and to worry about. Top of descent coming up there. The VOR is not active yet. And what's the time? 17:10. So can we get a weather report? There you go. So 110, 13 knots, and it's still varying. In this case, from 70 degrees and 150 degrees. We'll be landing 189 degrees. So we'll be having a crosswind a little bit from the left. 110, 13 knots. A little bit windy, nothing too bad. 10 kilometers visibility, few clouds 2,300, it's 19 degrees. QNH is 1011. So So we need to change to 1010 to 1011 to get the correct altitude readout. Then at some point at about 2,500 feet you will see the radio altitude here. So then that basically becomes your god, and then you just set it down from there. Alright, 5 more minutes, 4, and we'll start our descent. It's now 17:17, so there's actually 6 more minutes, well, whatever. We'll get down in any case, 63 knots, 243. So let's have the checklist here, pressurization, landing altitude. So we have that, set to 0. Recall checked. Let's see if the recall has anything in store for us. No, we have to pay for outboard. Auto brake, we can use 1. By the way, don't pay for 4. It's insane. Landing data VRF minimum. So, well, we got the landing data, we got everything. 110.3, 189. Our ref speed, but we'll check the VRF speed a little bit later on. Just once more, and we'll. In the worst case will be 121 knots and 126 or what have we. The radio altitude, decision altitude, which is 280 feet above the ground. So we have that. Basically we're good to start our descent, and we also pre-dialed 1011. I do want to know what is the transition altitude on our way down. 6,000 feet. So at 6,000 feet we'll switch from standard that we are on now. Standard will switch to 1011, which is local barometric pressure at Tunis. Approach briefing completed, well, pretty much. We've added an extra waypoint or two to help us line up. We're calling to ADAMI to ABDAB, and then ICANI, and then from ICANI we added Marsa, which is that one right there. That will take us to the one that's already in there, the center fix. I believe they call that the center fix, the CI-19er Zulu. And the first ring here is where the glide slope will start taking us down, and it's just 15 nautical miles, just to be aware if it's close or whatever. And then we got the runway extended center line. So this will be giving us a couple of miles to capture the localizer. So yeah, might be a little bit fast, but we'll see how it's going to go down. Sometimes the world out there can be a fast-paced place anyway, so why not do a crash your desktop simulator or something else? I don't know what that meant, but whatever. Alright, map view, Broderick, all top of descent, rushing towards us. It's 14 miles, 13 miles, it's just counting down. So we got the latest weather. We do not have to expect any new weather updates. Maybe just one at 1740. Actually, that could be, well, landing at 1745, so yeah, we could maybe use one more weather update. But for now, this is what we'll use to start our descent. Then we just monitor our airspeed and the descent profile to make sure we're not overspeeding, we're not below the profile or above it. Preferably a little bit below if you have to deviate from it, you know. In the test page, it's dropped by 1 knot, as you can see. It is now at 122 knots. So if we choose flat 40 degrees, we will now get 121 knots. So that's what we'll use now. So +5 is 126. Let's check that on the LIPZ page, just to be sure. It'll take it there as well, 126 knots. And here too, 121, so you had to 5 yourself release. Yeah. So 126 knots. And the DOR, as you can see here, it's come alive as well. 126 knots come out. This is all too easy, man. I don't know why I even bother. That's a cute little visual. Nice and dramatic with the sun beams being broken by the fuselage. Just a little screenshot of that. Who knows, one day somebody will look at it. Let's get back inside. So top of descent, where are you? What is the time? 17:17. There we go. Descending. The engine's pretty much going to idle now. Not sure what's saying here. Retard. Oh, there you go. Definitely a little less white than it was during the cruise. So there's some openings in the clouds. You can see now we're a little bit below our descent profile, but we only just started. Deviation is about 80 feet. You can see this here on the right hand side. I'm not going to intervene just yet. I will usually intervene when we are actually above the profile, because that means that we're just lagging behind, but lagging ahead. That's nothing too serious. I'm going to turn off the DOR here on the navigational display because it's just distracting me. I don't want to look at things I don't need. Speaking of don't need, let's have a look at the go around procedure. So missed approach, as soon as possible, climbing, turn left on radio 164 to the TUC VOR. So 5 knots come out from TUC, then turn left to VOR. So what does it look like? What are they saying here? So you turn left on radio 164. So here's the VOR on the airport, so you overflight basically outbound 164, and then you turn left directly to the VOR, and then you follow radio 299ers, outbound radio again, to join Altic holding. So, at 3,000 feet, so pretty much basically we'll just climb to 3,000 feet in case we do a missed approach. In that case, we would obviously need the VOR. Let's just leave it in. Now that we looked at it, I would feel guilty to turn it off, you know what I mean? Like, yeah, but we looked at it and we gave it some right to exist, you know, and it actually has a purpose and a function, and then, yeah, well, you know, I'm not going to bother, you know, yeah, they're gonna bother them motherfucking ass, you know? So I'm like, okay, just turn it back on. You know? It is not the end of the world. Antarctica is, however. Just ask any flat earther, and you will be entertained for weeks. So definitely a lot better skies than we had during the cruise. Vertical deviation stops at around 30. Anything lower than 30, it doesn't really, it's not really impressed by that. So we're 30,800 feet now. Let's get this to the LIPZ page. 17:45. That's in about 25 minutes. So we'll let the passengers enjoy their freedom inside a little bit. Actually, we did not turn off the lights, the seatbelt sign. Let's put them back to auto. Just so we can turn them on again in about 5 to 10 minutes. A little bit below, 60 feet or so. To 13 knots, and will be more of a crosswind, I think. So I guess our speed is okay. Let's check the INSF again. It's still on 121. I highly doubt it will change, but who knows? Maybe it will change to 120 knots. We'll see. So ABDAB coming up at 23 miles, and then ICANI, and then Mars, that's the one that we entered in there ourselves. So the nice thing about these checklists that you don't forget things when you're not using checklists. So we got the auto brake ready to go. Obviously there's also always some things, but we're not through yet. So basically the next step is altimeter 1011, but we'll do this in 21,000 feet when we're at 6,000 feet. So after ABDAB, we'll go to ICANI, and then we'll get ready for lining up. For me, start the Sky Dolly. That's the program I've been using to record the landings. I haven't posted any landings, but maybe I will someday. It's really nice to watch your own landings, you know, to see from third person and from different angles, zooming in, zooming out, just to see if what you were doing gave you the result that you wanted, and if you see you made a mistake, you can. It's really interesting. It's it's just super cool in any case, and but it's also very helpful. Like it gives you some insight into what you're doing. So right now we're a little bit above the profile, about 30 feet. Still nothing too crazy, but let's keep an eye on it in any case. We're at 24,700 feet, 1724. So touchdown is in about 20 minutes. So let's strap in the passengers then. Ladies and gentlemen, this is your captain speaking. We have started our descent to Tunis Airport. Please return to your seats, turn on your passenger seat belts, and keep them on until the aircraft has come to a complete stop. We expect to arrive at our destination in approximately 20 minutes. The temperature at Tunis is 19 degrees. The clear skies with a little bit of clouds, and it's a little bit windy. Please remain seated and keep the seatbelt fastened until the aircraft has come to a complete stop and the seatbelt sign has been turned on. On behalf of Tunisair and the entire crew, thank you for flying. Alright. A little bit below. So you can see it's just going up and down a little bit. If we don't let it spray too much, we'll be a-okay. So ABDAB coming up 3.6 miles. Passengers have been secured. Could maybe start up the APU. And go. Go. You got it. You can do it, man. You know you want to. Look at it. There you go. Bravo. Very good. Okay. Okay, something changed and now we're considered high above our profile. About 500 feet. Well, it appears to be changing quickly. Look at that. Here's our vertical deviation indicator. So that's 10 feet of difference. So this is evening out nicely. That's good. So time 17:27 Zulu. So in about 13 minutes, hopefully we can get the latest weather. And otherwise, we'll do fine in any case. On our way to ICANI now. That's another 35 miles. So at 6,000 feet, we'll switch to local barometric pressure. 10,000 feet is basically the next event. We'll turn on the landing lights. APU is stable now at 400 degrees. That's also a nice and dramatic looking picture. I like it. That's looking cool. Alright, 1 hour 15 minutes into the flight. 17,000 feet. Speed still 121 knots at 40 degrees of flaps, so no change there. I don't think we should expect any change really. 3.4 total, so we're not burning a lot of fuel. On a flight like this, obviously not a whole lot to see but see. So here's the good landings. The time is 17:30. Against better judgment. Let me just check. And that's nothing. $13,900. So I think the engines are pretty much at idle. They're like 36.2. Let's sort of breathing a little bit, you know. They're not bad. But not doing a whole lot. Actually, they're doing a whole lot because they're doing this on their own, using the flight management system. Which is basically for flight management system, it basically connects all the functions in the computers, really. I believe then the FMC is the flight management computer. I believe that's this, that's actually system behind the CDU, or the FMC. I think you can call it FMC as well. In any case, as long as we can land it and have some good fun, then I'm happy. It looks like civilization is there, at least it's land. So after ICANI, instead of going to Mars, we could also have, for instance, taken a right turn. Shall we do that? Let's do that. Or let's not. No, let's not. I'm sorry about me twisting my own arm. Yeah, the thing is, we could go to heading mode. It's not the problem, but it is nice that it's taking all the altitudes into consideration. Otherwise, you're sort of fooling the computer a little bit. Yeah, so 10,700 feet coming up. So we already have the APU running. And we can turn on the landing lights. And the seatbelt sign is on. We also address the cabin, the passengers. Speed now is decelerating. We need to be below 250 knots. Since we're crossing 10,000 feet. And ICANI, we should be 240 knots, 50090. So that's what's happening there. Well, that's why it's nice to have these arrangements, you know, you don't see it when you zoom out, or you zoom in like this, but at least you know there's something going on there. Let's turn off the weather radar. Actually, we do this up here. 1733. Probably no news. There you go. So QNH 1011. Turning now for Marsa. So for the go around, the moment we are intercepted from the localizers and we go below 2,000 feet basically, or actually when we're intercepted we can set the altitude to 3,000 there in the box. So after Marsa we may have to be a little bit quick. It would be nicer if the aircraft could fly like DME arc and then turn left. Could maybe do what we did earlier flight as well, and we changed the max bank angle to 30 degrees, allowing the aircraft to take slightly sharper turns, so it doesn't cost us as much distance over the ground. Looks like a golden hour is upon us. Look at that. That's our APU. So now 600 feet, so at 6,000 feet we'll switch to local pressure. We also have DME readout on the ILS. 24.5 nautical miles. So the time 17:35. Well, let's hope for an update. Not yet. So probably 5 minutes before our landing we'll get the latest weather. Usually this will be given to you by either you tune into the ATIS, you know, and you get some weather check from tower. So speed to 30 knots. Well, we got a bit of headwind. Okay. think actually at Marsa we should be 240 knots, and that's 6.5 miles. But with, okay, so we're approaching 6,000 feet. And there's the localizer. Not the localizer, the glide slope. So let's turn to local pressure now, 1011. That's on both sides. As far as the cross-check goes, when you're doing this on your own, two pilots would actually read out, you know, like 6,100, 6,060, you know, and they get all hyper. So we're still descending, so the glide slope diamond will start to move up, allowing us a little bit more, space. Okay, so Marsa coming up now, so then a right turn to Charlie India 19 Zulu. And that's when things will start to happen a little bit faster, because the aircraft will need to decelerate to 167 knots, 2,000 feet or above. So here comes our right turn. So we're in proximity of the airport, so let's turn on the runway turn-off lights and the taxi lights. Passengers are strapped in. And we got the landing lights as well. We are on local pressure, 1738. Let's just quickly see if there's an update. Nope. Still being chased here by the glide slope. Speed starting to decelerate. Let's try step 1. See what it looks like. There we go. So it's now going to flap 1 speed basically. We don't have a speed in the box in the window here quite yet. This will happen automatically. Not really sure how that works, but basically at some point when you're on your final approach, you will get speed control here. $1739, still 1700 Zulu. Speed 174. So there is probably our runway. Let's arm the localizer. The sooner that is done, the better. Looking at this, it does definitely look like we are above the glide slope still. I hope we don't have to capture it from above, which is always going at the expense of your speed, and therefore at the expense of your stability, if you will, you know. I'm gonna go flap 2, see if that changed the speed. Does not. It does now, okay. So once we are on final approach, we'll arm the speed brake. So the approach checklist has been completed basically, and then the landing checklist, engine start switches to continuous. We're both at continuous relights. Here's our left turn. Speed brake armed, landing gear down, flaps green light. We're not quite on the localizer yet. We are now captured by the localizer. I'm going to turn on approach immediately. There we are, glide slope. So that's a bit of fast action. And now the speed is ours. So flaps 5, and then we'll change the speed manually. Our distance 9 miles. Let's just first decelerate a little bit further if we can. Really quickly get the INFF page 121, so nothing changed there. So we are decelerating, we're on the glide slope. Time 41, so we should have a new weather report. 1330, 110, 11 knots, costing 23 knots, 070 and 170, 1011, 90 degrees. Okay, so everything go. Let's arm the
2500.
The speed brake. Distance 7.7 miles. And go next flaps. That's 20. So that's our runway looking all pretty. We're ready for us to touch down. Flaps 15. Now the gear warning, so let's drop the gear. I usually fall for this trap. Oh, sorry about the noise, this will go, I don't think you can mute it anyway. So 121, 126 is our final approach speed. Flaps full. We're 1800 feet, so we're now watching the radio altitude and no longer really the barometric altitude, which is following the standard or the local air pressure, but rather a radio altitude, which is also the decision altitude, same unit. Alright, so standing by to disengage the autopilot. I think the landing checklist has been completed now, so we have engine start switch to continue, speed brakes armed, landing gear down and flaps down, green lights. Landing checklist complete. And let's get the cabin crew ready. Cabin crew, take your seats for landing. 1400 feet. So the wind where we are now, 38 knots, but we're still like 1300 feet above the ground. It does feel windy, I must say, even by not actually flying anything just yet. Looks like we got some departing traffic there or something. Alright, 1000 feet coming up, so autopilot off.
1000.
Now we just follow the glide slope. Small changes when they are needed. That's the challenge for me. Like 2 degrees or so. And then find your attitude again. A little bit to the right. We got a crosswind from the left, as you can see, in the top left corner of the navigational display. Take it easy on our altitude. Drifting towards the right a little bit.
Approaching minimums.
A little bit high.
Minimums.
We continue. This is definitely windy, I can tell you that.
50. 30. 20.
Idle.
10.
Flare. That's not very nice. We're down. Full reverses. Find the center line. So welcome to Tunis, everybody. So we vacate the runway to the right. Sixty knots, engines back to idle, flaps up, and the speed brake up as well. And let's brake a little bit now, and we'll exit the runway right here. So it's nice landing golden hour. It was quite windy. And the runway vacated. We turn off the landing lights. And the golden hour, look at that. Beautiful. Let's turn off the flight directors. Let's turn off the auto brake as well. Looks a little bit funny, not sure we're supposed to be doing this. So that's basically the first to the left. Just find the yellow line and get on that sucker. Feels like we're a little bit to the left maybe, but well, just a little bit further, come on. Let's do this. There. Parking brake set. So welcome to Tunis. Look at the beautiful sky. Okay, so just found out you want to, you have the problem that I'm having as well. That you need to tilt the camera back, you just zoom in, so it will make smaller changes. Very nice. It's just stupid that you need to. So here we are, parked at Tunis Airport. Yeah, PMDG 37600 with the Tunisair livery. So thank you very much for checking. I appreciate it. I hope you enjoyed the flight. I know that I did. And everybody stay cool. And see you at the next video. Bye bye.